hope you all are doing great. So today we will be studying basically about the unit 2 of your pharmacognosy, which comprises of all the drugs belonging to different categories, mechanistic classes, or your structural features, okay, or depending upon the pharmacological or therapeutic action. So the first category of drugs we are going to study are alkaloids. So chemically talking about their structure, these are the basic nitrogen containing compounds. That means the heterocyclic ring must have a nitrogen containing compound that is obtained from the plant, animal, or any microorganism having a physiological action, okay, or marked or a specific physiological action. This term alkaloids was coined by Meissner in 1918. This term alkaloids are derived from alkali-like, that is nothing but the basicity or the basic in nature, as they contain one or more than one nitrogen in the heterocyclic ring. The properties of the alkaloids are, the very first thing, they are basic in nature due to the availability of nitrogen in the heterocyclic ring, and obviously we know the nitrogen has lone pair of electrons, so hence it becomes basic in nature. The alkaloid contain not only one, but it can also contain more than one nitrogen that exist as primary amine called as mesacalin, secondary amine ephedrine, tertiary amine atropine, and quaternary amine tuberculane chloride. These are nothing but the categories of the class of drugs. Okay, these are the different drugs having a primary amine, secondary amine, tertiary amine, quaternary amine in their structure. Okay, basically these are the structural features. Then these alkaloids are colorless, some may be colorless, crystalline, non-volatile, solid, and also bitter in taste. They are generally optically active. Okay, very important question asked. Alkaloids are optically active. Okay, it can be asked dash which class of drugs are optically active. So alkaloids are optically active. Among the levoisomers are more active. Okay, and the inactive ones are your papaverine from your Papaver family and atropine, belladonna, atropa. Let's see about the chemical test for alkaloids. So these are the few chemical tests of alkaloids. So you have to remember any 5 or 6 from this. The important ones are your Mayer's reagent, that is also potassium mercuric iodide solution, that gives the precipitate, that is nothing but the inference that the alkaloid is present. Then you have Wegener's reagent, that is potassium triiodide solution, which gives the red brown precipitates indicating the presence of alkaloids. Then you can remember the Dragendorf reagent, that is potassium bismuth iodide solution, similarly giving the red brown precipitate. Hager's reagent giving yellow precipitate which has the picric acid. Then you can remember the tannic acid test, that has the precipitated alkaloid. Ammonia Reinach A test, that has a pink precipitate. Then this test is again very important, asked several times in the MCQ type of question. Muroxide test, okay, in which there is a combination of your caffeine, HCl, and potassium chloride, which gives purple color. When added alkali, the color is rose. That is, usually this compound is of gives the purple color, but whenever if indicating the presence of alkaloid, that purple color is lost, that it becomes colorless. Okay, then you can also remember the other 3 tests, but these the marked ones are very important, which you should remember for alkaloids. Let's move ahead with the first drug, that is Venka. Yes, this test is also asked, the Van Uyrichs test. Okay, that is also the Eldridge test, in which you take the ergot powder and para-dimethylaminobenzyaldehyde, which gives you blue color. This is also asked in MCQs. Okay, the blue color indicates the presence of alkaloids giving blue color indicates which test. So it is Van Eurecht's test, or you can also be asked as an alternative name. So let's see the very first easy example, that is Vinca, also known as Sadabahar or periwinkle. You might be aware it has different colors of flowers like pink, purple, white. You might be aware of this. The biological sources, it is obtained from the dried whole plant of Catharanthus roseus. It is also known as Vinca rosea, and the family is Apocynaceae. Okay, now this Vinca is obtained from the dried whole plant. That is, the dried whole plant is used of Catharanthus roseus, the also known as Vinca rosea, belonging to the family Apocynaceae. Okay, this is the microscopy which you can remember for mentioning in your exams. It has trichomes, covering trichomes. Then what are the important features? You just not need to draw the full uh, diagram as same shown here. You can just draw a schematic representation when you can show there is an epidermis, there is a palaceid cells, then you have a lower epidermis, you have a covering trichome, and above the epidermis you have some collenchyma. Then obviously you will have xylem phylum. You can show the vascular bundle near the xylem phylum. Okay, so the three things important you can show in the schematic representation. Okay, as here I also have mentioned, upper surface shows the presence of single layer of rectangular cells, epidermis, with the unicellular covering trichomes. Then it has a spongy parenchyma cells and a cruciferous stomata or anisocytic stomata is present. Now the chemical constituent, two important chemical constituents of vinca are vincristine and vinblastine. These are your important anti-neoplastic agents or anti-cancerous agent. Okay, these drugs are used, the chemical constituents are used in the drugs for neoplastic drugs, that is your anti-cancer drugs. Okay, so you can see this is used as an anti-neoplastic agent, that is cancer agent. It is used in Hodgkin's lymphomas, that is one type of cancer. Acute lymphocytic leukemia in child, this is again the lymph blood cancer in children's. Anti-diabetic action, so the vinca shows pharmacological actions, that is it shows dual pharmacological action of being used as being used in two important diseases, that is your cancer agent and anti-diabetic agent. The next drug we have is Rauwolfia. This is also known as Chota Chand or Sarpagandha. Rauwolfia is obtained from the dried roots. Now we have seen the whole plant. Now here it is just dried roots or rhizomes of Rauwolfia serpentina. Now the name serpentina comes from the structure, that is that has a snake-like structure. The roots have the straight neck structure like this. Okay, thick brown roots having a snake-like structure. So it is called as Sarpagandha or the Rauwolfia serpentina. Again, it belongs to the same family as that of vinca, that is Apocynaceae. Okay, and then the TS section of the root shows externally stratified cork with 2 to 3 layers of small cells, followed by the phylloderm. Let's see the microscopy. So this is the microscopy of your Rauwolfia serpentina. Okay, the bark. Okay, as I said, it has a stratified cork with a phylloderm. Okay, both bark and wood contains abundant starch. Xylem is entirely lignified. Very important. The starch is the xylem fiber is entirely lignified. The sclerenchyma is absent, and the tetrastichious arrangement is present. Okay, you can see there is a stratified cork with the phylloderm. There is a presence of starch. Okay, abundant starch in the bark and wood. Then the xylem is entirely lignified here. Okay, then it has secondary fibers, then the medullary rays are present. Okay, and you can see the wood fibers, wood parents. You can just show the schematic representation of your Rauwolfia serpentina. Okay, then the chemical constituent are ajmaline, that is rovalfene, ajmalilene, ajmalicine, serpentine, and serpentinine. The uh, chief important therapeutical active alkaloids are reserpine and resinina amine. So the important chief constituents to be remembered in the Rauwolfia serpentina are your reserpine and risacinamide, serpentine and serpentinine, and also you can remember the ajmaline, that is Rauwolfine. Okay, the use is, it is hypersensitive in nature. It is used as a new psychiatric disorder agent. Okay, the adrenaline, that is Rolfine, is used in the treatment of arrhythmias. Okay, cardiac arrhythmias, that is the inadequate heartbeat rhythm. Okay, then it is also used as a relief obstruction of normal cerebral blood flow. The next category of drugs you have in your alkaloids is belladonna. Belladonna is also known as deadly nightshade leaf. The belladonna is obtained from the dried leaves of other aerial parts of Atropa, acuminate or Atropa belladonna. Okay, the family Solanaceae, and the epidermal cell with slightly sinus anticlinical wall and striated cuticle anisocytic stomata is present. So this is a color image of the TS of your belladonna root. Okay, it has the stratified cork with the phelloderm. Then the roots also have the starch. Okay, here the roots are not used. Here your dried leaves are used. Okay, in the case of belladonna. Covering trichomes are present, parenchyma is present. Okay, the parasite ratio, you can see this is the parasite below the cell. So the parasite ratio is 5 to 7. Okay, calcium oxalate crystals are also present. The chemical constituent, this is but the TS of the belladonna root, but scientifically for the pharmacological action the TS of leaf is to be studied for the belladonna as the leaf is considered. Okay, it contains 0 to 3 and 1.0% of alkaloids. Main alkaloids are L, that is levohyacinamide, and its racemic form is atropine, very important. Okay, as in the name also there is Atropa belladonna. The leaves contain a fluorescent substance called as scopoletine, very important. Phyllolacta american, uh, Solanium nigrum, that is parasite ratio, Alinanthus glandulosa. These are the adulterants or the substitute forms of the belladonna root. The person selling the belladonna root can you make you fool by selling its adulterants. Okay, that is the fake or spurious substance. Okay, that has no pharmacological or therapeutic action. The uses is atropine. Atropine is a parasympathetic drug with the cholinergic property. The last drug mentioned in the syllabus for alkaloids is very important, opium. It is also known as a feme. Okay, this is obtained from the dried latex or obtained from the incision of unripe capsules of Pepperworm somniferum. So these are the kinds of the capsules of your Pepperworm somniferum belonging to the family Pepperveraceae. Okay, so there is an incisions made into that capsule with a blade or something, and it is allowed to collect for 2 to 3 days. The latex which comes out of this capsule of Papaver somniferum is collected, and that is nothing but your drug, that is opium, that is used in drugs. Okay, the varieties Papaver somniferum album, that is the album, that is Indian category, and there are also two uh, Turkish and European categories. Okay, so just you need to remember the album one. Then the family is Pepperveraceae. Microscope shows the agglomerated latex granules in irregular mass, and the for stomata for the Rauwolfia and for your Vinca was anisocytic. Here it is anemocytic. Okay. The chemicals constituents are combined with organic acid called as a meconic acid. Okay. Now the opium alkaloids can be classified in two categories according to the structure. First is the benzyl isoquinoline and the phenanthrene ring. In phenanthrene ring, you must be aware of morphine, codeine, thiamine. So these are also the chemical constituents of your of your opium. And benzyl isoquinoline में you have narcotine, narcine, noscapine, pipervine, which is optically inactive. Okay, these are nothing but the chemical constituents. So you can just write morphine, codeine, thiamine for the phenanthrene ring, and benzyl isoquinoline के just remember the narcotine, pipervine, narcine. Okay, this is a monoacidic phenolic alkaloids. This is laboratory in nature, very important for MCQs. It contains sugar, wax, mucilage, and salt of calcium, potassium, and magnesium. Okay, this is the structure of morphine and codeine, which you can also have seen or practiced in your earlier semesters. Okay, now the other allied species are the Papaver bacterium, which contains no morphine, but they contain high percentage of thiamine, so causes no addiction. Okay, if the Papaver bacterium is used in the cough syrups or something like that, or in the other category of drugs, these prevent the addiction. Okay, then the chemical constituents के लिए you have 2-3 tests. First is the Marquis test, in which you will take the morphine with concentrated sulfuric acid and formaldehyde, which will give the dark violet color, or meconic acid with FeCl3 gives the reddish blue, deep reddish purple color or blue color. Then morphine when treated with Si2O gives blue color. Okay, so these are the important tests. Or morphine when sprinkled with concentrated nitric acid shows orange red color. This is not allowed in the codeine. So these are the few tests, and you need to remember the first three tests which are important. You can also remember these two, but the Marquis test is one you should remember for opium. So we have seen the four drugs for alkaloids. Okay, we'll revise. Let's see the uses. Morphines are the analgesic, sedative hypnotics, produces respiratory depression, constipation, cough syrup preparation. Piperine has smooth muscle relaxants, and apomorphine is used as an emetic for the treating the poisoning cases. So we have seen four alkaloids, that was vinca, rauwolfia, opium, and which one? Vinca, rauwolfia, opium, and one more. Yes. We have seen vinca, rauwolfia, belladonna. Okay. Vinca, rauwolfia, opium, and belladonna. So these four drugs we have seen, in which the vinca belongs to the Apocynaceae family. That uh, the this Rauwolfia belongs to the Apocynaceae family. Belladonna belongs to the family Solanaceae, and the opium belongs again to the Apocynaceae, uh, to the Papaveraceae family. ठीक है. इसमें the chemical constituent पर vincristine, vinblastine. Rauwolfia में you have reserpine, serpentinine, serpentina, okay, reserpinine. Then opium में you have morphine, codeine. Then you have your narcotine. Okay, that why it is called as narcotic analgesics. Narcine. Okay, belladonna, atropine, belladonna, atropa belladonna. Okay, that is a European category. And the chemical constituents are agemaline, right? Okay, so you should remember like this. Now we'll move ahead with the other category of drugs, that is the phenylpropanoids or the flavonoids. Okay,